All right, continuing on with part two. I will not be recapping part one. You need to go back to that and watch it. Anyway, using reason number 5 as an example of the absurd amount of hurdles, Gordian knots, and premises of issues that is men's responsibility to solve. I use the 5th example in the Happy Wife's video on why women don't like sex. And that 5th premise was that women nagged, emasculate, hound, and just beat down their men to the point that their husbands they no longer find physically attractive. And whereas the previous video, I said such a phenomenon is natural. I don't believe it's conscious. I don't even believe it's malicious. It is 100% fact. And also, therefore, it is men's responsibility to say no, leave if you have to, have a conversation up front. If you nag me or nitpick, relationship is over. Whereas that is the fact, that is the correct answer. Philosophically, it is an absurd premise. And you could say, well, women can't control it. You're right. You're right. Women can't control it. It's real. Men got to do it. But it's an absurd premise that men have to do this. Like, hey, don't nag me. It's an absurd premise. Men have to deal with that at all. I don't care how hardwired or genetic or unconscious it is absurd. Married men or committed men, any man has to deal with a petulant little child who nags you. This is where Alexander Grace comes in. Now, if you don't know Alexander Grace, he's been around a while. I don't know where or how long. I believe he's a significantly bigger channel than mine. And he goes back a while into the pickup artistry community. He has a YouTube channel. And this was the inspiration, the prompting of me to do this video. Because Joker covered it, and then I watched Alexander Grace video. And Alexander Grace, I don't want to put too many labels on the guy or simplify the man's channel. But one of the things in his wheelhouse is pickup artistry. Understanding women. And we're going back probably a decade or so. What do you do to get the girls, huh? And if you go back into his catalog of art, well, women are going to do this, but it really means that. And women do this, but it actually means this. Now they're going to throw up that, but this is how you bypass that. And here's this child's going to throw. And here's how you solve that issue. And a video he did, I linked to his channel below. I don't know which video it is because it could be any one of the titles and topics. And you saw him. I think the man went through a change. He had an epiphany. And that's why I posted a picture of him before and after. Now he's like, remember Hollywood Hogan? Oh, this is going to be so long ago. So there was Hulk Hogan, and he was the hero, and everybody loved Hulk Hogan. They became Hollywood Hogan, and he was the bad guy. It's kind of like I wish, what's his name? Tiger Woods did when he got caught, busted, cheating on his wife. And everyone, oh my God, he should just become Bad Woods. Just got like Harley Davidson sponsorships, Trojan condoms, like just fucking own it, Well, it looks like there's been this change, this metamorphization, this metamorphosizing. He's evolved. And I think he's pissed because in the video he's pissed. And the point he made was, okay, if you go back, not that long ago, but if you look at all the work I've done, it's always been about how to get the girls, how to game, this thing you got to do, that thing you got to do. All the efforts of men have put forward for, well, technically since we've ever been here, but more recently, let's just say the past 20 years of red pill reconstitution and rediscovery of wisdom and formulas and theorems and hypotheses. Like I said, we put way more effort into that than putting a man on the moon. And then he finally, I don't want to say woke up, but he looked at it from a different angle. And he said, okay, all my advice is still true. All this stuff is still true. But he's pissed. Are you pissed, John? And the reason he's pissed is because he was blinded by the pursuit of women, logically, obviously, male genetic programming. And then step back to look without horn dog male eyes and more of a National Geographic, let's observe the antelope in the wild type of thing, and ask and observe the simple question, is this behavior on women's part acceptable? Everything from bitch shields at nightclubs to getting stood up to getting, text game, the petty pain in the ass, all of it, all the pain assery, all the bullshit, all the hurdles, all the tests, going on dates, and the girl just sits there and says one word answer, texting one. There's freaking books written about it. And he simply removed the sex and the romance and everything from it and looked at it and says, what kind of behavior is this? It is fucking atrocious and unacceptable behavior. And the fact that the premise is presented to men, which is reinforced by men's sex drive, that it's blinded to them, is that you have to go and play these petty fucking games. That's just the dating aspect. And have a triple doctorate in psychology to figure out, why do you feel like you're giving a piece of me or yourself away? Why do you nag and destroy your husbands? Oh, you see, you don't understand. You got to really go in when she says this, that premise alone to me, where women do not say what they mean and mean what they say. Playing hard to get, which is an old school. Frankly, fuck you. Fuck that. And fuck you. And that's one thing I want to use Alexander Grace's epiphany to point out the absurdity, this premise that you men are given. Is that if you want to go, Cappy, do you want to get ice cream? Yeah, I want to get ice cream. Hey, Frank, do you want to play Nintendo? No, I don't want to play Nintendo. But the absurdity of all these hurdles, tests, lies, flakes, and then how you guys don't ignore the insulting and frankly unacceptable behavior of all of this. Even some girls would say, but it's their emotions, it's not behavior, they can't control it. Fine, you're right. Still unacceptable. And once again, we invoke the power of sounds like a you problem. That's what I kept saying on that video. But that sounds like a you problem. And what you guys have to realize is, yes, if you want to game women, if you have to game your wife, you got to stay in all this other stuff. But to save yourself the sanity and to maybe introduce not so much self-respect, but to make you be a better judge of how you're going to spend your time, understand right now in the West, it might be different overseas, but right now in the West, it is an absurd premise that you men have to go in and untie this Gordian knot. And that's that. If you don't know what the Gordian knot is, the Gordian knot, I think it was a Greek mythology thing where it was a knot that could not be untied. And I think the hero just came in and cut it. I think that's what it was, because, you can't untie it. You can't try to untie. Like, no, the premise is wrong. You're right. I'm not going to untie the Gordian knot. No one's got time for it. It can't be untied. None of you guys are going to go in there and figure out but I'm giving a piece of me away all the time. I have nothing left to give. Not your fucking problem. Girls crying for some reason, not your fucking problem. I understand little girls cry, right? Something, they stub their toe or something bad, but a full-grown adult woman crying? No, not your problem. Not your problem. It's not only is it not your problem, You can't solve these problems. Girl wants to stand you up, unacceptable behavior. Girl's going to sit there and pull teeth, look at her phone while you're on a date, unacceptable behavior. And you don't want to fall into the trap that somehow it's your obligation to fix it. And also that there is a way to fix it aside from simply cutting the gordian knot and saying, nope, I'm not doing this anymore. And if I could get, especially younger men, I think the older men, once your hormones start to go down, you're like, oh, wait, what am I doing again? If I could get you younger men to realize the absurd, the premise is absurd and often faulty. Especially, you want to see an absurd premise, go listen to women about their dating advice for men. How men can get the girls. You see, you just gotta, whatever comes after you just gotta. It's wrong and faulty. And I will say it again about the only thing that really worked. If you want to bypass all this, all right, you got to be hot or go home. That's it. It is that special, the numbers, depending on what metric you want to use, we're looking at about a top 5% person. And this is why not only do I have linked below the book of numbers, the book of numbers analyzing ROI in the pursuit of women, and Alexander Grace's channel. I have Rich Cooper's book, The Unplugged Alpha. The only way, the only way this is going to work is that you have to become a good-looking enough man that the Gordian knot isn't even presented. All this bullshit is thrown away, and that women are compelled to find you attractive. The guy who turned out to have murdered or is accused or speculated to have murdered the healthcare CEO, he's a good-looking dude. All the girls are salivating right now. They don't care. The old school rules for thee, not for me. Rollo Tomasi. They make rules for betas. They break rules for alphas. You have, if you want, I mean, really, it just reemphasizes the point. If you want to get girls in a manner and capacity that is respectable, does not waste your time, does not lessen your life, sometimes often ruin your life, you can't be there to negotiate. You can't be there to negotiate. You cannot negotiate with these girls. You cannot, well, what's wrong? Can I do the dishes? Da, da, da. No. Be so fucking hot, they're throwing themselves at you because that's the only way it will work. And like I said, what is that? It's usually top 5%. Rich Cooper's book, The Unplugged Alpha, talks about this, all the different things you could do, especially if you're a younger man, you don't know all that. I'll say just go to the gym and get jacked. Rule number 2, be tall. And ultimately what it gets down to is you got, it's not that you got to, but you should let the women choose you. Right? But Cappy, girls won't choose me because you're right. That's how stunningly attractive you have to be. You have to be in exceptionally good shape. And I'll tell you right now, going to the gym and dieting and exercising is going to be less costly, less pain, less time, less frustration than you being even a 7 or an 8 and negotiating and dating. I got to dress up this way and I got to ask out 1,000 girls. No. Because then you're still going to be dealing with the mind games and all that other shit. You're still going to be dealing with the Gordian knot. And if you have to negotiate, if you have to pull teeth, you're not hot enough. And that's the facts. That's the facts. But going forward, I like to make it this black and white so that you can make a decision and understand and not have any confusion. I guess a lot of it, and now that I think about it, the whole advice, and I'm not against game. You have to be charming and charismatic. I'm not against that. But this advice, especially what women give you about dating girls, give you guys hope. It redirects tremendous resources, energy, time, and money, which you do not have, especially the younger you are, into things that frankly don't work. You'll have some modicum of success. You'll have some gains. But at the end of the day, you're just entering a labyrinth that you can't get out of. You are trying to solve emotional problems that are not solvable. And you are, in some ways, especially when it comes to dating, not so much the sex part. I actually do believe women are fucking beaker, man. But when it comes to initial dating and courtship, the behavior is atrocious. I would say women should be ashamed of themselves, but how women have treated men the past, god dang. I don't know. I wasn't a boomer. I didn't date back in the 70s. I'm going to guess 40 years at least, 50 years. I don't know. I wasn't dating when I was 8. But being stood up, being lied to, snarky behavior, unladylike behavior. And watch, you can see it in the fine, go ahead, defend this. Be loud, be fat, be obnoxious. I don't care. Tell me I just can't hit. What? Fine. Keep displaying and providing more and more evidence. Guys, you don't have time for it. You just don't. And whereas the work of Alexander Grace, Troy Francis, Sterling Cooper, he's probably, not to say Alex or Troy aren't accurate, but Sterling, having been a porn star and an exceptionally handsome man, he's right there. He knows the visceral attraction part. I'm not saying don't dress up. I'm not saying don't be charming. I'm not saying these guys don't offer anything of value. They do. But if look at how much tailoring and kowtowing to impossible standards, impossible hurdles, games, mind games, not to mention a lot of times who people are just mean and not pleasant to be around and have poor behavior. But I gotta get she nego, but no, it's not worth it. You don't have the time for that. If you want the girls, as I said before, you need to reach that critical mass. If you're one plutonium atom short, you're not going to get a nuclear reaction. You need to be exceptionally good looking or go home. Because this hybrid gray area where you're an 8.2 and you make $89,000, whatever it is, no. And actually, the money really don't. I mean, look, you got the guy who, I understand why you bumped off the CEO. I get it. You're still a murderer. You're not someone they don't care. That guy got chiseled, right? That's all that matters. That's all that matters. Now, down the road, sure, being a good man, if you're going to have a long-term relationship, that's different. And yeah, it doesn't matter if you're Tom Brady. The wife is going to nag you because it's built in. That's an obligation. You got to say no. And if you don't like it, there's a door. I recommend you turn into James Sexton, I believe he's the lawyer. Don't get married. Don't bother with that. Look, if you want to have sex, don't get married. Very simple. But you got to stay in shape. You got to be good, And they're still going to, you're going to just don't tolerate it. But this whole idea of, be nice and hey, get to know, talk, and search your feelings. No. Get 6-pack abs. So she's ripping off your clothes. Problem solved. And my God, man, did you avoid a world of mental hell trying to untie that Gordian knot? So there you go. Like I said, I link below to Alexander Grace. I link below to Rich Cooper's book, The Unplugged Alpha. My book, The Book of Numbers, Analyzing the ROI in the Pursuit of Women. If you don't believe me, if you're still blinded by the pussy, please go get my book, audited by an actuary. Rest in peace, Fred. So you can see the numbers, like how little there's, but you flip that switch, you become, hey, bippity boppity Luigi. With the 6-pack abs now, every girl wants them. You'll understand the statistical chances you face ahead of you. All right. Let me go to, bear with me because we had the part one. I'm going to do those super chats, which are not going to come up on the screen below. I'm just going to read them. Supers. There we are. Why is it not pulling up? There we go. Albino for 10 US dollars went to a restaurant in Cheyenne. The hostess and waiters' family trees had to branch like a 2x4. It was obvious. Yep, you're in Wyoming. Who dang? That and Cheyenne's like the cosmopolitan one. That's where the pretty people are because it's the capital. Virtual escape for $2. Do you think women can outlaw age gap relationships? No, I really don't think so. I don't think, at least not in our lifetimes, not with the current Supreme Court. They can try to shame men for dating younger women, which they've done since time immemorial. It hasn't worked. And men, a lot of men, kind of akin to, I'm not untying the Gordian knot. They're going overseas. They're cutting the Gordian knot. They're just not dealing with the knot. They're like, fuck this shit. I'm not dealing with that. I don't know how they'd enforce it. You might be able to get, the problem that a lot of women are going to face where, oh, how dare you date young women? The premise is these poor girls are being taken advantage of by these old wascally men. It's like, well, then do we have to increase the voting age for, like, are women children or are they adults at 18? What is it? I don't think they're going to succeed. They'll try to socially shame, but they've been doing that forever, and they've more or less failed. And I'll tell you this: the male sex drive is stronger than women's desire to shame men. You can try and shame men all you want. He's still going to want to bang a 25-year-old. It's not going to go away. John Turkey Lurkey Smith, $5. This brings up again the women that panic about sleeping with younger men. No power imbalance, no long-term relationship, still regrets or bolts. Well, let me give you a more stratospheric view. You're Turkey Lurkey. You're making my whole point. You're dating a gal, everything's going great, and then it's going to happen I think it's happened to all of us, right? Everything's going well, and all of a sudden the girl just disappears. Whatever, doesn't return your calls, doesn't return your texts. The point I'm trying to make is, guys, that who cares? Stop thinking that their world, which is increasingly being told or evidenced to me, is a bundle of chaos and flightiness and monkey branching. Who the newer, better thing? It doesn't matter. The fact that they will be flighty or go off with the next boyfriend or find a better guy or just not, that it doesn't matter. That's standard. That's industry standard. And you need to set aside your desires and your genetics and biological hardwired program to be a horny little bastard and to say, oh, that's the way that one went. Because that's what it is. And like I said, let the girl choose you, right? The girls that chose me, that made it obvious, it was painless. It was and some of them ran off anyway. And I wish I could have told my younger self, hey, kid, it ain't your fault. I'm sorry about your heartbreak, kid, but just let it go. I knew a guy my age long ago, half my life ago. I met this guy. He was 50. He's a good-looking man, good guy, pilot, wealthy, had a house on a lake, and he got all torn up about this gal breaking up with him. I remember saying, "Look, man, the why doesn't matter. All that matters is what is." She left. You guys are dare I say, you men might even have a little bit of emotion to you. I'm sorry, you can't afford emotion with people acting like this. You can't afford emotional investment where it's just like, what, 45% get divorced. That's like the most committed thing. 45% of it ends in divorce. No, obviously you can't get emotionally flaky, not showing up, not going to talk. That's too unstable. It's too ethereal. It's too how do you a great question a friend of mine says, how do you punch a cloud? You can't. How do you resolve women's psychological issues about emotions and feelings and sex and all that? You can't. You can lift weights, you can get jacked, but you can't. Therapy is such a fucking joke 95% of the time. It doesn't solve anything. It's nothing tangible. I just feel bad. All right, well, it sucks to be you. Um, they panic about sleeping with young. Are they panicking? I don't know. I didn't read an article. Is that what the worry is now this week of Women Incorporated? Oh my God, I'm sleeping with younger man. Imagine the hell. I felt bad for this gal, the happy wife. Not so much maybe her, but other women where you're. It's not that you're going to die. You're going to get old, and frankly, you're not going to be attractive anymore, and men aren't going to want to have sex with you anymore. Now, I don't know how. I really don't. I really don't know, deep in the heart of souls of women, how important sex is to you. But I would imagine, I'm being serious, kind of important. It's not nothing. It's not like something they hate. Caveats accepted. But it's like your bucket list. Like, hey, while you're young, old man, do you want to go on these hikes or not? Hey, old man, forget before you die, before your knees go, do you want to play this sport? Hey, old man, before your visions goes, do you want to go and rent a sports car down in Vegas and go race around a bit? Ladies, before no one wants to fuck you, do you want to have a healthy, fun sex life? And this is not all women, of course. I've dated women like, God bless it, they love sex. Like, oh, wow, you're healthy. Holy shit. Oh, boy, for everyone, those are the exceptions. What's that like, being all worked out about something? I think Mullen, who had this gal who her entire life value was based on the fact she was a virgin and she was going to save herself, da 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 da, and it ruined her life. She obsessed about being a virgin, and it's like, I don't know really couldn't give. I guess she only had one bit of her to give away in her inventory, and that was the one piece she could give away. Couldn't give away that piece. It's like, wow, man, I guess I've had some hangups in life before, but I got over them. It's just sad. Like, I don't know. I thought sex was kind of fun. I wouldn't say necessarily magical, but hey, it's fun. I'm kind of a Epicureanist, which is like a hedonist that's responsible. Like, what the fuck? Especially with the birth control. Like, what the fuck? But hey, man, I'm sorry. All right, no, you do you, man. But you're not my problem to worry about it right now. That's gotta suck. That's gotta suck. That's like not having ice cream, or like having ice cream but feeling guilty about it because you're having sugar and cholesterol and you just can't enjoy it, and oh! Like, fuck. No wonder booze was so required. And now that's dangerous. We can't have booze involved. That's how half the population was born, is people got drunk. People actually chilled the fuck out. What a life, man. What a life. Chris Surdak, $10. Hey, Aaron, good news. I finally got the court to investigate the child thing. Not investigate the not being kind to children by their mother. Only took 6 years, 500,000 legal fees, and over 10,000 pages of evidence. Yay, marriage! Right there. Chris, I'm sorry, man. That sounds like hell. That's a life ruined. $500,000. That's a life ruined. That's just the money. It's nothing about the time and what your poor kids have gone through. It's unacceptable behavior. And the final one from part 1, my truth. Hey, my truth, were you ever going to email me? You said you had some kind of emergency consultation. Oh, that's from last night. Okay. All right. So we did that. Now let's go here. We got the super chats. Wheezy Bird, $10. That's with the guy from One Piece Pirates. I know that guy. He's the one with the swords. I've been having personal experience with miserable women. No, okay. Miserable people, male or female, it doesn't matter. That's that. I can't emphasize enough as you get older. There's no reason you guys got to wait to be my age to start putting this into practice. Miserable people don't have to be tolerated. I don't care if it's your mom. I don't care if it's your wife. I don't care if it's your husband. I don't care if it's your best friend. Miserable people don't have to be tolerated. Say, see you, bye. It's really sad, especially as the quality and caliber of Americans, anyway, goes down. You cannot invest or rely on these people to form long-term, reciprocal, meaningful relationships. Loving friendship or not, it's just exhausting. It's just, dude, get a job, get your shit together, get some exercise, suck a dick, some fucking thing, but it's not my problem, okay? No matter how much I am praised for looks and status, I do one thing that reminds the chick of their ex. I get insane nagging and gaslighting. Right. Now, I will say, in defense of women and men, because this equally applies, the people of the dating age range now, of course, let's say 18 to, let's say 35, you guys have been so piss poorly raised and wrong, and your parents, which is my generation and maybe some younger boomers, they so failed to raise you right and teach you what's important, how to behave, and not to mention just get simple basic resilience. That's a huge component. Male, female, doesn't matter. And so you are dating ill-raised children in your generation, and women are dating ill-raised children in your generation. You're working out, you got a job, you got your shit together, you joined the military, you got shot at in the Iraqi war. You kind of are pretty based, and you know what's important in life, and you're sane. Bipsy McBeckerson, I mean, the New York governor, who's my age, God, do you women know anything other than other people's money? Honest to God, Democrat women, do you know anything other than other people's money? I mean, her solution is give free money away. So I mean, it's criticizing my generation too. You're not dealing with adults. In other words, the vast majority of people, shit, I was going to say 35 or under. That's your dating range. I'm going to say the vast majority of people, 60 and under. The vast majority of people, let's just say, are not functional adults. They are dysfunctional, inadequately raised humans that are simply not capable of, a lot of times, friendship relationships, certainly not business relationships. Everyone's got to fucking cheat and screw over the customer, but they're just not there for romantic and let alone sexual relationships. Yeah, man, I'm sorry. You know, she dated the guy, and oh my God, he didn't know I like blue was my favorite color. He got me red roses instead of the blue roses. What a dick. Not your problem, right? Not your problem. So, and you know how you extract yourself from this problem? I'm sorry, I didn't know that blue roses reminded you of your ex. I'll never do it again. And then you drop her off, and you ghost. You never see. You just bye. Akimoto Akira, $2. Old wine always tastes bitter. Women don't get it. I think you mean old wine always tastes better. Women don't get it. You mean bitter? Which one, Akimoto? It doesn't matter. I don't need another super chat. Anyway, there you go. Hopefully I provide a little bit of practical takeaway wisdom. Let's recap so we don't remember, okay? Unacceptable behavior is unacceptable. Do not let your sex drive blind you to that fact. You do not have the time, money, resources, or mental reserves to go and engage in the impossible chore of passing all these tests, jumping all these hurdles, meeting all the stated demands to get women in dating and all that. Third, many of these things have no solution, and therefore do not fall for the false premise that you got to sit there and listen and, oh, yeah. And four, the only way to really bypass all this is to be exceptionally attractive, or go to a place where you already are exceptionally attractive. I guess that would be Americans going overseas. You just do not have time for it. Your mental health, your time, money, and resources is just not worth it. I guess 5, become a Jedi master at the art of identifying them problems. Not your problems. Be able to identify, sounds like a you problem. That is your new lightsaber. It's called sounds like a you problem or them problem, but not a you problem, your problem. John Turkey Lurkey Smith, $2. Oh, the older woman thing was indeed an article. The older woman thing was indeed an article. Was that, what did you, hang on. Brings up again that women's the panic, all about sleeping with younger men, no power imbalance, no long-term relationships, still regrets or yeah, that's again. Look, man, the young bucks getting some MILF action, you're getting some good dick, and you still got to worry. What? Where? Do you girls got to throw worry into it no matter what? Are you compelled? I don't get it. Like, I've seen people just enjoy chocolate ice cream. Do you really have to take it? Oh, what does it mean? Oh my God, I can't give myself and lick the chocolate ice cream. No, I have the chocolate ice cream. Oh, not my problem. Just go be Beaker, man. I got shit going on. All right, that's it. See you guys later. Toodles.